Hey y'all, it's Jenni Moseley, and we are here live with the Elevate Effect. It's time to take the dental field to a whole nother level. Fly with me, folks. Let's get real and let's get uncomfortable.
Welcome back, everyone.
Woohoo!
Today we have a special guest, Craig, in the house.
What?
Not literally in the house, but he's here with us. Craig's from CSK.
Well, would you consider our house all over
our
the place?
virtual house?
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
We're virtually together.
That's right.
Craig's here from CSK Creative. We're excited to have him on. He and Jenni tend to be two people that are constantly looking for growth and constantly nerding out with each other, listening to professional, successful people, inspire with words. They send each other quotes. They could talk about one quote for an hour and a half just to analyze it and dissect it. So we're going to do some more of that so everybody can be a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sometimes when other people need to hear something in order to grab it instead of come up with them themselves. So I even get it from when we do it too. So it's here we go, right?
Yes, we're excited to have. Oh, go ahead.
I love it because you can get so many different interpretations of things. So I don't want to get off track here, but I'm excited about this because I really want to hear Jenni's interpretation of it versus mine.
I'm sure it will be different. So we're going to break apart some inspirational messages and show how they each incorporate it into their field with each other and help the people who are listening just incorporate it into their day-to-day lives. So welcome officially, Jenni and Craig.
Boom.
Jenni and Craig.
Jenni and Craig. Like the Jenni Craig show. Yes. Are we going to lose weight or what?
We're excited to be here. We can make it.
Oh my gosh, wait a second. Jenni. Yeah. You never know. Some of our stuff may get somebody to go out there and get healthy. So the Jenni Craig show.
I love it. I couldn't be a bigger proponent of that.
Yep.
So if we could have just both of you guys, mention a little bit about yourselves, how you got connected, just so everybody knows why you're in each other's lives.
Okay. You want to go first, Craig?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So like divine intervention, I typically believe in. As I carry my little cross here, I believe that everybody has that divine path, and some people recognize what's supposed to be there and some people don't. And I tend to try as hard as I can to understand that everything that happens is because of him. Craig came just like that. And we used to do seminars, and they were pretty killer seminars. And I think not only did his company recognize the power that we were delivering, is we kind of recognized the power that they were delivering and got together. And then ever since, it's like two people that have, a vision, that their own, path of business vision, but they're visionaries and they don't let anything get in the way. And so that's to me how we got together. And I know it's just such a broad stroke. It doesn't really give details, but that's kind of how I talk. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And it's rare when you meet somebody who is willing to completely challenge you without any regard for your feelings or thoughts or anything like that. And I think everybody who knows Jenni well would agree with that statement. And it's a compliment too, because I don't know a single other person like that. So having somebody in your life who is willing to go with you to the next level and then do whatever it takes to support and to collaborate to get even beyond that is awesome. So I think that's in the broadest strokes, that's how we met. Like you said, it wasn't a specific project. It was just everything. Everything seemed to kind of come together, and a lot of like-mindedness throughout the entire process.
Well, in the podcast alone, I mean, truly, we were just on a conversation once, and it was just like, you're capping out. I think both of we're just talking. It's like you cap out knowledge and motivation by just a certain audience. And if you look at a lot of the speakers and leadership people, or all these people all over the world, they tend to constantly go to more and more people. And what's a venue to get to more people? And Greg was the one who kind of intrigued the whole concept of this podcast. And I remember sitting downstairs in the practice building and going, you know what, this is the only way to get it out there. And so here we are. And it's kind of cool, the full circle. Now we're doing it together. So I'm excited for today and the future of what we can inspire other people to do.
Well, and I think so Jenni's got an awesome vision for what this is going to be as well. So with the separate people that she has on the show, we're going to do separate things, and we're going to talk about different things. And one of the things we're going to talk about that I am very, very passionate about is motivation and mindset. And I think one story that I just heard this week really impacts that. And I mean, it's Monday, so I heard it this week. It was at like 8 a.m. or whatever. So this woman had gone to she paid tens of thousands of dollars and gone to all these different masterminds for her respective field. And she listened to all these people who were so successful. And she goes, you know what? It wasn't a single thing that I took home that was the nuts and bolts. It wasn't the oh, you need to do exactly specifically this. She said, the number one thing that I took home after all of this is a mindset shift. So if you want to get to a certain level, you have to have the mindset of being at that level, or you will never make it, period.
So true. It is so true. I mean, we can go down, him and I could do this all day.
Yeah, let me cut you off.
My story, your story, my story, your story, my story. Because, here's the beauty. And then you go, Erica. The beauty of, and watch and listen to all these different episodes. The beauty of what you'll hear us is truly two people that cannot not see something in everything. That try being in that brain. You're a nut job all day long. You're like, how do I read that? How do I do that? What am I going to get? What am I going to get? And so we tend to, Erica's going to, bear with Erica. She's going to, keep us contained because we are those kind of people. But it's true. It's like we could do this all day, every day. So please throw in feedback, throw in requests, man, because we're willing to sit here and get uncomfortable for all of our growth.
I'm going to try to keep this from being a 24-hour long podcast.
Everyone will thank you.
Where you guys just keep going and going. So today we wanted to talk about a certain quote from Brian Tracy, who's somebody you guys both listen to, look up to. So his specific quote about desire versus fear. So the quote is, the key to success is to focus our conscious mind on the things that we desire, not the things we fear. So if you guys could each tell me, when you saw this quote, how did you feel, and how this quote connects to you and your business?
Can we break that up into two different things so him and I both don't go on tailspins here? Okay. So why don't we each both answer that first one, which I love that question, Erica. Great question. You said when you saw the quote, what did it instantly make you feel?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, so for me, okay, I'm going to repeat it again just so I can internalize it and everybody can get it one more time. The key to success is to focus our conscious mind on things we desire, not things we fear. So I think the first thing that I thought of with that is analysis paralysis. And there's such a thing in every type of business. It doesn't matter what you're in, where you can sit there and you can research everything all day long and live in this kind of semi-fear state. And if you never get out of that state, you will never, ever move forward. So that's the analysis phase has to be there. Don't get me wrong. You got to do the analysis. You got to do the market research. You got to do whatever it is to be successful in your career, your path. But at some point, you got to get out of the paralysis phase and get into action. That was the first thing I thought.
So your first initial feeling is directly connected straight to the fear to get away from it. Would that be?
Yeah, okay. Get beyond it. Yeah, I think.
See it. And what's interesting is my first drive is the conscious mind. Like, to me, the conscious mind is what happens externally. And so, the conscious mind communicates to the outside world. And so the subconscious mind is memories. That's the inside. And to me, that's what's fascinating about this and what Craig just said. Look, guys, you can't wish for this. You can't just say, I hope. I mean, really? Conscious mind is truly, literally the action, taking the action, speaking the action, and actually telling the outside world, holding yourself accountable. Tell somebody that you're going to do this so that then when you choose to maybe get scared, you won't. Consciously do it. And that's what I see with Craig is like, he goes to that fear, and then I go, okay, but consciously tell yourself and somebody else, don't just think in your mind, I'm going to lose weight Monday, I'm going to start eating health Monday. Oh, screw off. Okay. Go call the person that you know is going to hold you accountable. Guess what? I want to start exercising Monday. Consciously do it. Do the things that create desire. That's first what I thought. I thought about the conscious mind because it's very frustrating. I know I'm going on again. You got to stop me. But it's very frustrating because people mix up the two of subconscious and conscious. That is very powerful. It doesn't say the key to success is to hope for it.
Yeah. So this is a little bit crass, but sometimes I'm a crass guy. So my best friend's dad growing up, he's like 6'9", gigantic, head shaved, just a scary looking dude if you're on the wrong side of him. And he was a maximum security prison guard. And he used to always say to Lucas and I, well, you can wish in one hand and shit in the other and see which one fills up first. Like, take action. What better way to say take action is there?
It is beautiful.
I love that.
I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, you actually shared with us a story about a dog you had, which, I mean, honestly, it has not left my brain. And I believe that there's just so much that we all get down about. And like, to me, fear happens a lot with the subconscious mind. And I think a quote better would be, the key to success is to focus our conscious mind, period.
Sure.
And the key to failure is to focus our subconscious mind on the fear. Because I think a lot of people don't, again, I'm like to really analyze words, but to me, a lot of people would just fly right over this message and just go, well, yeah, I mean, obviously, you would, but the true message is consciously, you got to do it. And how do some of us do it? Some of us don't, because not all of us consciously tell ourselves that, and so anyway, that to me was pretty powerful. And then, of course, it took me on a spiral of learning about all this subconscious stuff. It was kind of weird and cool.
I was wondering what rabbit hole you went down after.
Oh, you have no idea. Listen, there are so many really cool parts of the brain. Oh, see, I could.
Yeah, let's cut that one off.
Darn it.
So with that, how do you feel like that quote connects to you in your personal or business life?
So for me, the key to success is to focus our conscious mind on things we desire and not things we fear. I think if you let me put it this way. So in tennis, right? If you are thinking about missing the shot, you're going to miss the shot, guaranteed. Or if you're thinking about, and this plagued me for a long time when I was growing up, especially. So I would think about, well, what does somebody think about what I'm doing? What do they think when they're watching Craig do whatever it is? Let's say hit a tennis ball. And if I'm thinking about what they're thinking, I can't be thinking about what I'm doing. And so then I would fail at it. Literally, because I wasn't focused on it. And it's like, it still happens all the time, but that's I think the number one thing that I would focus on is, from this little bit of a dissection that we're doing on this quote, is you just have to focus in on exactly what you want and put kind of blinders on everything else.
So obviously you're not a pro tennis player, but you play.
Yeah.
So you're connecting it to tennis.
That's the funny thing about it. It's like, I just love it, but I'm not that good. But
well, again, though, you're focusing your conscious mind on what you desire.
Yeah.
You don't care to suck. I mean, that's not the point. That's why you enjoy it. Duh, right? You're proving that point.
Yeah.
But what about, so you own your company does videography and social and websites and things like that. How can this connect to that?
So I think this directly connects to that in the sense that for me, I still go back to the analysis paralysis thing, because so many people want so many things. And, you want to be 10 pounds lighter, you want to be a millionaire, you want to be whatever it is. And all of us want these different things, and you can study them all day long. But unless you just jump in to a certain extent, you will never get anywhere. You just have to start at some point. And if you focus your conscious mind on fear, you will never start, guaranteed.
Well, so if you can't, it's weird how we just did this, because I feel like, way to go, Erica, in getting us to be smarter than we really are. Anyway, because if you really listen to this podcast, it is a building block. Because what you just said, you started off with the fear thing, then I brought in the conscious mind thing, and then you basically said that even in tennis, the subconscious, here I go, your subconscious mind was talking about others' thoughts. That is what creates failure, because you're talking internally. Oh my God, what am I doing? What am I gonna do? And those mind games is what creates the fear. That's why he truly, really strategically put in the word conscious mind. He didn't have to say that. He literally could just say, the key to success is to focus on the things we desire. He didn't, because he's brilliant. And he puts in conscious mind, because you can't just tell your inner self, you can do this. You've got to actually freaking do it. Yep. We are in the dental field, which is a very weird field, but even where we are we're even in a field that is really high performing dental field. It's not normal. It's higher sales, higher marketing, branding kind of stuff. It's just all of it. And and then Elevate itself is all about, personal balance. And, you never know your limits until you go there, and risk and reward and all that. So to me, I truly believe that this was a great choice to start off, because, for example, we've tried clients together. And if we actually allowed the subconscious mind of all the negativity that we could have easily, that I thought of, and I'm sure Craig thought of, then we wouldn't still be in the gig elsewhere. It's just like, okay, so you take that and you go, okay, I desire this. So just because that went that way, don't mean crap. I mean, this is a desire, so I got to keep going. If it wasn't a desire, and it would have just went ploof off the face of the earth. And so, to me, I think a beautiful piece to this is the connection between what Craig does and what Elevate and Dentistry and all that do, is you have to consciously just do it. And you have to be okay with failing and losing and learning. And then if it's a real desire, tell your conscious mind, it's okay. It's okay. Keep going. And this is the perfect time to bring in Nina as well. Mm-hmm. So this dog I used to have, she wasn't that big, but she just had an iron will, and she would get whatever she wanted. I mean, I like to say that I could control that somewhat, but really I couldn't. She was doing whatever she wanted to. So I put up a 6-foot fence, and I put it facing my yard so that she would have nothing to grab onto, so she couldn't get out of the yard, because I wanted her to be safe. It's really what it was. But she wanted other things. She wanted more adventure. So she would jump that fence like nothing. So then I put an electric fence on top of that, thinking, all right, there's no way she's going to do a muscle up on top of this fence while she's getting a little shock to get over this thing. But guess what? Whatever she was getting over that fence, and I know sometimes it was like getting into the neighbor's recycling. So true story, she came back one time with a half a jar of peanut butter. Okay. Wow. How do you get a half a jar of peanut butter, right? Did she take it from somebody's inside their house? Because nobody throws away a half a jar of peanut butter.
Oh, that's
they so don't. True. So anyway, my
the story gets deeper.
Yeah. So,
but still, that is talk about mindset.
Yes. So what do you want so badly that you'll take the hit and go through the electric fence? What is it? Because I'm like, this dog wants it so bad. I'm like, in some ways I should just let it happen. Just tear down the fence. Just let her go. She's going to do it anyway.
Well, if you can, and again, like Erica is trying to help us connect this, like people listening in and thinking, how can I do this to my own business or whatever I do? I went to watch my niece play basketball this weekend for Tennessee Tech, and she's just an incredibly badass chick. I was I'm blown away by this girl. Gorgeous and inside and out. But then just this team they were playing was really tall, major athletes and really hard. And they were ahead up until the third quarter. And I'm not joking. You could see the mindset is what made them fail. The mindset is like, I get chills watching because of course, poor girl, we had to go to dinner after. And of course, all I did was go, analyzing the whole darn thing. But not in a coaching way, but just saying it's really, I said, I'm going to talk about it this week at the podcast with Craig, because I truly believe that hello, I'm sure Craig knows, but there was a basketball player back in our old days who was the shortest guy you would ever know, and he went all the way to the pros. He was incredible, and he could dunk just like anybody else, and he was like 5 foot. And so that was his mindset. And you saw these girls this weekend, the minute that they allowed their minds to take over the team, that they played exactly the same, but they showed differently because our team's mindset changed. And, if I can empower anybody listening that works in the dental field and works right now at a place like ours, and you're thinking, get me out of here. Just get me out of here. They don't stop pushing. The goals are so high. I want to shoot myself. Let me just explain. It's like all you got to remember is that this is like inner growth. This is literally inner growth. If your desire is to leave. If your desire is to stay, change your conscious thinking. It's like it's this inner growth. I know. Can you help me with that, Craig? Because I'm sure I just sounded very confusing. So inner growth, desire to leave. Inner growth, desire to stay, but challenging, change the way you think. Change your action. Can you help me say this?
So to go back to the dog thing, if that dog wanted something that badly inside the yard, she never would have left that yard. So the fact that she wanted whatever it was, that peanut butter jar outside the yard, that's exactly what's going on right now. So if you don't really want to be outside that yard that bad, you don't have to be. There's somebody else that will be.
That is correct.
If you want it that bad, you got to run through that electric fence.
So let me give you this analogy. This is kind of cool. Now let's hope I don't mess it up, but you both can help. Okay, so someone is stuck in a dental practice right now, and they want to be there. They're doing incredible dentistry, life-changing. Patients' lives are changed. But being an employee there is really hard. It's really difficult. They're being challenged. They feel like they're a failure. They personally don't feel good, but the practice feels good to be a part of. And it's that shift that's always happening. And so you think of this dog, and and to me, the dog leaving the fence is staying at the practice. The dog leaving the fence is not leaving the practice. Craig is telling you that the dog left to get the peanut butter, and he came back
to bring
home.
It back.
Thank you. The dog didn't jump over the fence, folks, and leave. He actually, all he wanted was to become greater and prove to his daddy that I got this. It didn't mean leave and leave. I want people to understand that, though, because they may think, okay, if I just get out of here, I can go grow. No, the growth is that when you do go there, you come back to where the place is that allowed you to get over it and come back and become better for it. That's the huge piece, especially with this conscious mind thing. If, let's say you left, you would never know if you won or not.
Or if you leave and somebody hands you a jar of peanut butter.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's so good. So,
and you don't have to go through anything to get it. It's just, here you go.
Yeah, because there's a certain type of person who's like, if you just are like, hey, here's the lottery, you can win it tomorrow. I mean, obviously, all of us would be great with that, but it's like, in some sense, we wouldn't. In some sense, you'd just be handed it, and you wouldn't have any growth associated with it.
Well, or how about this? Even still, most things, like, let's say that peanut butter jar, right? the peanut butter, Erica, you would get the same one. So either you jump the fence for the one that you weren't allowed to have and it's half eaten, or someone hands you just a half eaten one.
Right.
Screw you. If you just, if you just go get it, you better get a full one that's never been open.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's a different result. It's a different fight. Like the end, I will eat that peanut butter because I crossed the path to get it. But if I just go over to another practice and they go, here's a jar of unopened eaten peanut butter, I'm like, screw you. I'm not eating that shit.
Oh, that's so good. That's
so true,
good.
Man.
It reminds me of hunting.
Way to go, Erica.
Yeah, that's so good.
That was full circle.
Thank you.
Hunting, like as soon as you go hunting, you're like, oh my God, it is that difficult to get food. It really is. And it should be. And then you have it. You're like, I am so grateful for this food. It's amazing. And then you just go to Publix and there it is. I just got.
You're going to love this. So my husband's a hunter and so is Erica's, right? Mm-hmm. And, you're really happy when you get the freezer full for the certain months of the year.
Yeah.
And, venison backstrap is, for us folks that don't do it a lot, it's not an easy thing to perfect how you want it and the chew and everything and how you soak it and everything like that. And lately, about the last year, you can buy chicken at any store and you can't get good chicken anymore. It's really weird, right? But you can take your venison and I can have, and like last night, I get home from my trip and he's got venison cooked and it's not the best one he's ever done. But because of how and where it came from, you're so appreciative of every bite. I never do that to the chicken I buy at Publix. I'm like, this shit sucks. When I tasted it last night, I'm like, you know what? It could have been better. It's a little this, a little that. But you're so appreciative for this thing on your plate because one, the way you got it, the appreciation that you had it, it's in your freezer. It's like the power of all the steps you went through to make it the way you want it. Like that right there is so different than going, I expect it already from Publix. So if you leave the dental practice and they tell you they're going to give you $5,000 as a bonus, please believe me, that $5,000 is an unopened jar of eaten peanut butter.
Yes.
Totally true.
Following this because
I hope so too. Don't you hope? That's every time I do one of these, I'm like, I hope to God they can understand. But it's so true.
Well, if I could ask one more question, for people who are listening, and if you are following, what's something that somebody can go tomorrow and just right away incorporate into their lives based on what we've talked about today?
Okay, I guarantee Jenni's going to have a ton of these, but one of the things that I like to do is imagine myself when you're in the suck, when you're really in the suck and you just want to throw your computer out the window or whatever it is, whatever you look at thinking about doing when you really are in it. I like to think of myself, what would it look like if this were easy? Would it be as fulfilling when it's done? When I conquer when you conquer this thing, whatever it is it going to be fulfilling? Or is it just going to be like, oh, yeah, I brushed my teeth this morning. Yeah, well, anybody can do that. Doesn't matter. Some of the stuff that you're doing really, really matters. I mean, you could be changing lives with what you're doing. And think about just going back to something normal after that. Put yourself in that spot and then imagine it and then go back and live your purpose out if that's what it is.
That's good advice. Man, you're going to connect with people more than me. This is beautiful because I'm going to start talking and people are going to go, whoa. So bear with me, but this is just who I am. But I mean, there is a person that was crucified and nailed to something and whipped and chained, crawling on rocky pathways. I don't think it's ever going to be as bad as that. And so I personally, the advice I give is, the key to success is to focus our conscious mind. I would just cut the second part out for now and just start focusing with your conscious mind. Start, every day, just do one thing you wouldn't have done the day before. If it's set your alarm 5 minutes earlier, if it's, try one new vegetable a week. I would start focusing your conscious mind, because when you do and you don't think about anything else, you will learn how good it feels. And then you will connect that to the rest of your life, because really it is never as bad as somebody else. It really isn't. You can find somebody else always that has it worse. Always. If we see people all the time, and I tell them in consults all the time, and I hand out rosaries, I hand out as much as I can, because I will look at a patient and go, thank you for being here today. Because even if you say no to me, you have changed my life. Because of your struggles, I am better. I will handle the struggles that I woke up with. And I will say, Jenni, suck it up, because this person needs me. So if I were you, focus your conscious mind today. That's it. Do something of action, something different, and try it, because it is rewarding.
Well, to go back to the real tangibles here, to build on what Jenni's saying, if you're focusing your conscious mind, write it down. You don't have to
Write it
focus
down.
on, like, there's going to be, every single thing you do in this life is going to be positives and negatives, but you can just write down the positives. That's one
right.
way you can probably trick your conscious brain into thinking, hey, this is going to be okay.
That is
Getting up
correct.
at 5 a.m. and taking a cold shower like Jenni probably does because she's a machine, that like robotic stuff like that Jenni does on a daily basis is not easy. And it's a routine thing, but it's also, you have to focus on the benefit that you're going to get versus, oh, this is really going to suck to get up. It's like, if you think about that, you're not going to get up.
Yeah, I mean, it's how many times I'm getting older, and it's difficult when my alarm goes off, and I sometimes say to myself, okay, so now what do I do, right? And again, I go straight to my conscious mind saying, what would it be like if I didn't? Like, really, what would I would be worse off if I didn't. So this feeling I have right now is no worse than the way I'm going to feel if I didn't do it. But again, that takes a lot of things. So I love it right now. I love our advice is just focus your conscious mind, write down every day, or one a week or one a day. Like, I have my daughter every week trying a different vegetable. And to me, that's her focusing her conscious mind. Not that it's gross, but that green bean is gets you healthy hair. And you're going to have pretty hair if you eat that green bean this week. Focus your conscious mind, write it down. I love that. And then just do that, and do one all the time. And if it is connected to work, Craig, so that's personal. But for me, you can say in your business, if it were me, as I and Erica teach people, pick a patient. And one thing that we've taught you, pick one thing. If it's just a different way to say one sentence, say, I'm going to do this one sentence for a week straight. And I'm going to write down all the positive things that came from it, not one negative. As Craig said, write down at the end of that day what positive thing came. If nothing positive came, don't write anything. Until there's a positive thing that comes, then write the positive, and then connect that to the positive, and that's it.
And this
you're saying continue.
This is literally how you change your mind. I mean, you can change your way of thinking and rewrite synapses and things like that by doing these simple, it sounds too simple, but it's true. And then write it here, like that you can see it. You got to be able, don't just stuff it away somewhere. Like, make it annoy you. This is your goal, or this is your improvement, or whatever it is. Like, it should be front of mind, literally.
Yeah, Erica, you should show them one day all of our whiteboards.
Yeah, that's a great example.
It's ridiculous.
They're whiteboards on purpose because they change so much.
Well, that's
all of our calendars are dry erased because they change so much. But it's a good thing. So just to kind of wrap it up, we talked about things we can do, but just I want to go back to the peanut butter just for one quick second, just in case anybody really missed that point, because I think it was a great point. If you can just recap that in a couple sentences. Something that it made me think of is, my husband has said this multiple times, and he said there's got to be a harder way to do this. And I always thought, why would you want it to be harder?
I love that.
Why? But that's what it makes me think of, is the harder it is, the better it feels at the end. So if you could just recap the peanut butter, and then how can somebody take that concept into tomorrow when they go into work and they're like, man, this is not where my desire is.
Let's hear it, Jenni. Preach, baby.
Oh my gosh. Well, to me, the peanut butter analogy is, the peanut butter jar is exactly the same. no matter what you do, you're going to get the same jar. It's going to be opened and it's going to be full of somebody else's saliva, no matter what. It's either you go get it because you're starving and you're going to prove to yourself that you'll do anything to have a bite of food, or you're going to get it handed to you and be forced when you don't even, or you're not even hungry. So if you're waking up and you want to walk into the dental office and you're going, is this my desire? I just want you to think hardcore about why you're doing it. And is your conscious mind telling you, or is it your subconscious mind telling you? Is it your inner self? Can you say out loud to the person in front of you, I don't want to be here, this sucks? Or is it just what you're saying to yourself? If you can say it to the person in front of you, then reevaluate where you are. It may be you're in the wrong place. But if you can't, then that's your subconscious mind. So go damn and do it. Do one little baby thing. As Craig said, write it down. Write a pro the minute a pro happens. But I believe a lot of it is people think the grass is always greener, as you know, and people don't realize that it's the same thing that you're getting. So if you're getting the same thing, why wouldn't you want it while you want it, not just being handed something that you may not even want the time they give it to you? Mm-hmm. But I'll be honest, like Eric and I work together in this practice in Savannah, and you know, we can say to each other all day long, I'm frustrated, but I don't think we've ever looked at each other and said, this building sucks. We will, you know, if the day that happens, because the building makes us powerful. The gig's hard. We want to run sometimes. We're like, oh my gosh. But if I can't ever look at her and go, this sucks. This building sucks. It's a piece of shit. I'll never work here again, blah, 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 because it's not true. That's my subconscious mind scaring me. Mm-hmm. So define the two, truly define the two, and realize, focus your conscious mind on desire, and don't let your brain F you up, man. Craig?
Well, like everything Jenni says, I'm going to have to go back and listen to it again, but I love that. I mean, you're getting the same. So I'm not sure that I can think of one thing in life that is not more rewarding when it's more difficult. It's the way it's meant to be. I don't know why that is, but the harder it is, the better it feels after it's done. And you can't grow stronger without challenging your muscles. You can't get smarter without challenging your brain. You can't get more faith without going out on a limb a bit. It just kind of is what it is.
It is. You know, it's like, how about this? You're in a relationship and you have two different partners. You're a person that wants flowers and the other person doesn't like to give them. Well, if you had to tell them, hey, I really want flowers, they give them to you. You really like it? Same thing. You get the damn flowers. But do you want the flowers to be given after you say something? Or do you want to actually get, right? It's everywhere, folks. You claim you don't want it, but you don't want it in your job, but you want it everywhere else, right? I mean, we always go for the bad boys. We always go for, I mean, come on now. It's like we always want what we don't have. But yet when, so like the peanut butter, it's the peanut butter jar. Don't get confused, folks. The peanut butter jar out there is not full and covered with a lid and never been eaten. It's the same jar. And
I would love us to discuss gratitude at some point too, because that would be my next twist off of this, is like, if you are truly, and it's a difficult thing to do, but if you're truly grateful for the things in your life, I mean, a lot of this kind of vanishes. And
a lot of the amen.
Yeah. And it's
we're going
to save that for next time, because that's a whole another peanut butter jar we can open, I guess. But we'll save that. So any last thoughts before I cut you both off for the day?
I'm motivated.
I am too. And I would say that one last thing that I couldn't get out of my head, that when you play tennis, you play singles, right? You're playing one other person. You got one opponent. And if you are against yourself, then you got two opponents. You got two people trying to beat you instead of one. Don't beat yourself. Be your own advocate. Like, people need to be more kind to themselves and do some positive self-talk and be grateful for all the beautiful physical gifts or mental or whatever they might be that they have, and just be better to yourself. People are so harsh on themselves. And I see that all the time in my job, because people be like, oh, I'm so bad in front of the camera, and I'm doing so awful. And it's like, No, you weren't, but now you're telling yourself that, so you might be. Like, you could be telling yourself, I'm doing great at this, but how can I improve or whatever? Like, there's such a more constructive way to say that, and it literally will rewrite your brain if you do it in a positive way.
Yeah, one last thing. Brian Tracy, who was this quote, I mean, the guy didn't even get a high school diploma. And the guy then decides to take some friends and say, let's see if we can survive with nothing through the Sahara Desert together. And they focused their conscious mind consistently, not on, oh my God, we're going to die. We're not going to have any money. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. Yeah, it was all there. But it was more or less going, you know what? Where are we going to get the next dollar? Where are we going to get our next water? Let's do this. How are we going to make this happen? And he came out of that. Now, one of the most incredibly motivational speaker, multimillionaire people in the world that we're using today. And he created that for himself. And so, some of your scenarios you don't even create for yourself. The business does. So, I mean, he literally put it in front of himself and then put it out. If your practice or your job or your business is actually one of those that actually is the Sahara Desert and you're feeling like you're drowning and you can't even swallow and you can't do anything like that, tell your conscious mind, is this what I desire? Am I happy and proud to be here, but it's just hard? If you say yes, go.
Thanks for joining us for another episode. As you know, we're always looking for feedback, so please don't forget to give it to us. Let us know if there's anything you want to hear about. And don't forget to follow us on social media so you don't miss out on what's coming up next.